Good morning, North Coast. This is Trent Jenkins with our Fallbrook campus. Great to be back with you here today. And we're taking a second look at Luke chapter 5. Yesterday, we saw how God just overwhelmed Simon with this load of fish that he could never have dreamt of getting that many. And so we're going to dive right back into that passage in Luke chapter 5. I'm going to pick up at verse 6. When they had done so, when they had thrown out their nets again, they caught such a large number of fish that their nets began to break. So they signaled their partners in the other boat to come and help them. They came and filled both boats so full they began to sink. When Simon Peter saw this, he fell at Jesus' knees and said, "Go away from me, Lord, I am a sinful man." For he and all his companions were astonished at the catch of the fish they had taken. And so were James and John, the sons of Zebedee, Simon's partners. Then Jesus said to Simon, "Don't be afraid. From now on, you will catch men." So they pulled their boats up on shore, left everything, and followed him. So yesterday we talked about God just overwhelming Simon with this unbelievable catch. And I think what's interesting about the second part of this story is that he overwhelmed him with what it is that he was gifted and talented at, and he called him to something different. Isn't it amazing? He astonished him to the point where he could see who God was. He trusted him. And he said, if this is God, then I can trust him with anything. But I think there's an important distinction here, is that Jesus doesn't call him to further production, but to a greater purpose. Jesus doesn't call Simon to be able to catch more fish in a better way and just be able to feed his village to some greater extent. No, he called him to a greater purpose. And I want to encourage you today, wherever you're sitting, whatever cubicle or office, or maybe you're driving in your car, you're sitting at home. God's not calling you to some greater sense of production, but he's calling you to a greater purpose. You see, production just fulfills a quota, some sort of data. But you see, purpose fulfills a need. And God needs you to fulfill your gifts and talents for a greater calling, a greater cause. Simon was fishing for just fish, and all of a sudden he calls him to fish for men. He says, I want you to use your gifts and talents to make an impact on the people around you. And whatever gift, whatever talent that you have, God's blessed you with it, and you should use that for his glory, but it's ultimately to reach people for his kingdom. You have been called to a greater purpose. Simon Sinek says, start with why. Why is it that you're doing what it is that you're doing? Why is it that you're placed in the neighborhood that you're in? Why is it that you're placed next to that one person in the cubicle? Why has God blessed you with the company that you lead? There's a greater purpose than profit. There's a greater purpose than your ROI. There's a greater purpose that God's calling to you, and it's to reach people for his kingdom and his glory. Have you asked yourself recently, why? Why haven't you given me this? Why am I placed where I am placed? Why do I have the friends that I have? I believe God's calling you to a greater purpose. But it starts with us asking God, what would you like me to do with my life and what you've called me to? I encourage you, investigate that question today. Have a great day, everybody.